video games in an ethical, good way. But if you trust EA to do things right, oh man.
Alright, in this video I'm training with my daughter, so if you want to skip to that and just see her and I train together, which is a lot of fun, that's minute 6:54. Otherwise, you can endure me hitting the double end bag and doing my stretching routine. For people that have mobility issues, that might be of interest to you. If not, if you don't care because you've seen me do it a million times, just skip to 6:50 and get right to the fun part. Ooh, loud car. So in this video, I'm going to be doing my usual, responding to comments and talking a bunch of nonsense about life and lifting and fitness and all that. There is one thing though, I often talk about living by a simple set of principles, guidelines for men, if you will. We find to help the lost find their way. Things that have helped me throughout the years. Share my wisdom if there is any, experience, strength, and hope. But then what do I do when I'm confronted by having to be tested? You say you live by these principles, but then what? Something happens in your life where it just slaps you in the face. Like, how are you actually living? And I am being tested hard, my people. I'm telling you. I have a crazy boss. I like the guy. Him and I actually have a lot in common. We've chewed a lot of the same dirt. We've gone through a lot of the same things. And when I met him, I thought he's a guy that I gelled with, and I thought we were friends. And I've said it in previous videos. I've got maybe a little too close. Maybe I thought more of him than he thought of me, and I thought we were closer than we actually were, because I found out that behind my back he was talking crap about me, and he had issues with the way I was running things, but he wouldn't come to me directly, just to, you're my boss. If you have a problem with something I'm doing, you come tell me, and we talk about it, we fix it, right? No, he doesn't at all. He just talks shit. It's almost like I'm competing with him, and he's trying to undermine me. I'm like, but I work for you. I'm not trying to undermine you at all. Now, he has had to deal with some people that in the past have tried to screw him over. The more I get to know him, the more I kind of wonder, is that really true, or was it you? I don't know. But regardless, I'm one of those happy-go-lucky guys that just does my thing until life punches me in the nuts, and then I react to it. And that's kind of what I'm going through now. Because, I don't know, man. We had a visit from the state, which is a big deal in construction. OSHA, SCATS, regulatory. Anytime they show up, everybody freaks out. And we had a 100%. We passed with 100%, which is just unbelievable. It's like, I don't know, shooting a basket from across the court. Those competitions where you win $1 million, where you can make it a basket. It's like me just getting out there with a blindfold on and chucking a basketball and making it and swishing it. That's how rare 100% is. Now, our guys are really good, and it was at the end of the day, and it was super hot out, so maybe the state guy was just like, what, I'm tired of this shit. I want to go home. Who knows? But whatever, we did. We passed. But as it turns out, later on, the state contacted me and said, hey, we're missing some documents from, the office. And easy, no big deal. We'll send them over. The general contractor lost our files. I don't know how that happens, but they had nothing on us, so they didn't submit a single thing. So I got what I thought he needed, and I turned it over to my administrative office, and I thought they handled it. Now, my fault in this whole thing is I didn't follow up. I thought everybody was happy and everybody was satisfied and everybody had what they needed, and I didn't hear anything from anyone for a couple of weeks, and I was just like, okay, we're good. Well, we had our closeout on Friday, and that's where SCATS actually meets with us and goes over all the incidents and everything and then closes it out officially. Closeout started great. They said, you had 0 incidents, you guys are good to go. I'm still missing those paperwork, and if you don't get me that paperwork by Tuesday, it's going to be a violation from the state. A stupid violation from the state, because the violation says we don't have a safety program because they don't have it. But that's just the dumbest thing to have a violation for, because we have a safety program and it's outstanding and everybody's got copies of it, and there's literally hard copies and binders right there on the job site that you can physically pick up and look at and read. But he wants electronic copies. Okay, no big deal. I did panic a little. called my office, explained what was going on. I said, hey, can you guys help me out? I let my boss know. My boss lost his mind. He was so mad, and he just became indignant, and he started just being an asshole. Sorry about the language. And then I was like, are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Like, for real, man. It was like he was acting like I had totally, like, I don't know, just botched up. I don't know what to compare it to, but he does this, like, something will happen that's really, really minor and easily fixable. A minor miscommunication, or something's at the office, I need to go pick it up, or whatever. And he freaks out and just turns it into this huge ordeal. And now he's doing that thing where I had it arranged, Penny, our office person, was going to send this guy all the documents, no big deal. Well, he told her, no, I will handle it. Okay, why don't we just give the state what they want to be done with it? I don't know what so he's calling me and he's asking me for all the numbers of the general contractor I'm working with. He wants the numbers for this guy that I'm dealing with, the state. So basically he's now micromanaging me. He's not letting me do my job, and he's treating me like a 2-year-old. And on top of that, he's not talking to me. So I'm getting really, really angry. And, I lost sleep over this, and he still hasn't contacted me back. I wrote him and just asked him, I said, look, if you have a problem with something I did, I stand by any mistakes I made. Just let me know. I mean, like, talk to me. Like, tell me what you would have wanted me to do different in this situation. Tell me what issues you have, so that we could fix them moving forward. Is it a communication thing? Is there something I'm not doing that you would like me to do? Is it transparency? Is it including you on more? You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is that you think I need to be doing different so that this doesn't happen again in the future, talk to me. Let me know. I mean, we can discuss it. I was thinking about, like, well, what could I have done different? Well, I could have followed up for sure. That's a big one. I made the assumption everybody was doing what they're supposed to do. 2, I guess I could have checked the distribution list to make sure that he was being included in the communications. Outside of that, I can't really think of anything. It's really easy. If you ask me right now to produce the list of documents that he wanted, I'm going to fire up my laptop, I'm going to download them off the server, and I'm going to send them to you in an email. It is as easy as that. And I would have done it on the day that we were doing the closeout, except for my stupid laptop would not for the life of me connect to the internet. So that's why I wound up calling Penny for help and asking her to do it for me, which got Neil involved, which has now turned this into a shit show. If I would have connected to the internet, I would have just fixed it right there on the spot, and I wouldn't have even bothered with telling him about it, because there's nothing to tell. So now I got this dark cloud hanging over my head, and I'm wondering, what is he talking about behind my back? Like, what is he's making such a big deal about this? Is he picking fights? He's arguing with the state, saying, because we have hard copies on site, that they can't give us a violation for not submitting documents. And I'm just like, dude, just give him what he wants. Lord have mercy. I don't even know. And I'm just stressing about it. It's like one simple thing. That's all it takes. If you work with one toxic person, it can ruin a perfect job. I'm telling you right now. And me trying to stay in the lanes and live by the simple set of principles that I've espoused, I'm always thinking, like, what is the right thing to do? And I thought the right thing to do was to directly communicate and just state him how I was feeling and ask him simply what we need to do to fix it moving forward. He has not responded to that. Now I'm getting angry. This whole time I'm thinking, you know what, if I didn't work for you, that's that little guy in the back of the head saying, but he's one of those guys. He's super personable. He's charismatic. He's kind of fun to hang out with. And to your face, it's really easy to think that this guy's your friend. But boy, I tell you what, the second you leave the room, he is just stabbing you in the back. And like, I am so straightforward and honest and simple. I can honestly say that. I don't have any ulterior motives. I'm not trying to do anything except for my job and go home. I don't want anything he has. I'm not trying to undermine him. I'm not trying to make him look bad. I'm not even trying to involve him in my work. But I don't know if he thinks that I'm secretly trying to get his job or work my way up the ladder or make him look bad. I don't know what's going on in this guy's mind. But that's what I'm dealing with. Ugh. What do you guys think? What would you do? anytime issues like this happen, it takes me a minute, but I usually try to turn it over to God, that kind of thing. But I also just throw myself into activity to just kind of get my mind right, and it's usually physical fitness. So I have like 2 or 3 hours in the last 3 days of me training, and I had to kind of go through and pick what do I want to put in this video. And I focused on me and my daughter training together because I just think that's just a lot of fun. But I've got like an hour of me squatting and doing overhead presses and bench press, and it's all footage that I haven't put on YouTube yet. So I could probably make like 4 or 5 videos of all the training I've been doing, and I just throw myself into it. And I almost have to like remind myself to like stop. You got other things to do. I will say this though. If you guys are ever struggling mentally with things, for me, I have found that no matter what life throws at you, loading up as much weight as you possibly can on like a deadlift bar and then trying to pick that sucker up, we're talking like maxing out, whatever it's like, even if it's a max set of 3 or 5 or whatever, doing that for whatever reason after you're done, things just don't seem that bad. You know what I mean? I don't know why it works, but it works. Like, thank God for the weights. I would have been dead a long time ago. I started lifting when I stopped drinking. I'd always been a gym rat kind of guy. As a Marine, we did a lot of things, physical fitness, but it was a lot of body weight and lightweight stuff. It wasn't until I decided to put the bottle down that I started lifting heavy, and I think I replaced one addiction with the other. I'll tell you what, as lifting weights can be an addiction, and it can be super bad because it'll beat your body up, but it's really the things that it's given me that the bottle took for me. It's not even comparable. You could put all the negatives on it and make a list of like why you should or shouldn't do something, and if you compare the two, there's so many more positives from lifting. It's not even a conversation. Now, lifting heavy, doing what I do, how good? What about that? Well, that's a different question. But I think the best thing anybody can do if their life's out of order and it's missing from your life completely is resistance training. No matter what stage of life you're at, no matter what you can move, if you got one arm that works and the rest of your body's paralyzed, work that one arm out. You know what I mean? If you can only squat 2 inches and you can't even get out of a chair, find something that's 2 inches that you can squat off of and then slowly lower that. We start from what our limitations are and we work from there. And that's how we progress. So I don't ever want to hear anybody say they can't do it. And I've got tons of people in my daily life and in my family that just refuse to try to chip away at the problem. And it's just going to get worse as they get older. And it's unfortunate because I'm watching them waste away, and it breaks my heart. Telling you people, I don't care if you're not ambulatory, if you're in a wheelchair, if you have crutches, if you can hardly walk, if you can't bend over, if you can't sit, you can barely stand up, you can't climb a flight of stairs, whatever. I can help you. We can get you going, and it can start. It's really, really simple and easy. It's baby steps. You got to take that first step and make that commitment, and it will change your life. I promise you. I will put every dollar I've ever made on it. If it doesn't change your life, but the one thing you have to bring to it is you. You have to make the commitment. It doesn't work without the commitment. If you don't commit to it and you don't put effort into it, you will get nothing out of it. Then you can say, it doesn't work. It didn't work for me. Really? Well, honestly, I'd love to get you guys going. So hit me up, man. Let's do this. Let's get it going. All right. So the first comment of the day is Runner Boy. He's a community content creator. You should check him out. He's got some good stuff. He's commenting on my Marine Dives Deep Barefoot ATG Lengthened Partials. The previous short I made where I was trying to squat to grass. And he writes, just something to think about. Lou, the Olympic lifter, says for ATG, ass to grass squats, the chest needs to expand as much as possible for bracing as well. Because if you look at the way I was squatting, I was a little hunched over at the bottom. As a low bar squatter, you break with the hips, so there's this tendency to pancake even when you're going ass to grass. And when you're doing high bar squats, you want to break at the knees first, so you kind of go down in a straighter line. And you could say, how can this guy, you squat 3 times your body weight, you have like the highest squat for anybody in your age group on the planet, and you're gonna get advice from this kid? Yeah, his squat's a thing of beauty, man. Like, as far as his form is concerned, like, it's mesmerizing. I love watching him squat. And what I'm trying to emulate is what he's doing exactly. Now, the thing about when you're doing ass to grass squats and you're trying to focus on mobility, like strengthening your knees and your ankles, it really isn't necessarily about the amount of weight that you have on your back, although you do still want to progress. So it wants to be a moderate amount of weight. You have to have enough on your back to challenge yourself so that you can force a physical adaptation. And you do want that number to go up, but this is not something you're trying to max out. This is more conditioning, physical therapy work. And Runner Boy is an excellent resource when it comes to form for deadlifting, for squats, and yes, I'd say for bench press. If you're a beginner or somebody that's trying to get into the sports, I would definitely check him out because his form is impeccable. Now, my form, I kind of custom tailor things. Like, when we break out the accelerator tracking software, so I have this software that tracks barbell path, and it measures things like speed and movement and that kind of thing. And from there, I look at your body mechanics, and I custom tailor your lifts to your body. So when you see people that have trained with me or you watch me lift, you might say, well, your form's a little weird. It's like, that's not how I was taught to do it. I said, yes, because my form is custom to my body, and it's been honed over many years. If you're starting out, though, you want to start simple, and he would be an excellent resource. If I was starting somebody out that's never squatted before, and they wanted to do powerlifting, I would point them in the direction of like Mark Ripito, starting strength. His back squat is a good starting place, and then from there we would make adjustments. But for Olympic lifting, I'm not the best resource because I haven't really honed that. I understand the mechanics of it, but I can't get my body to do what my mind's asking it to. It just refuses to work with me. Yeah, check Runner Boy out. He's definitely a good resource for that. Millennial Power Sailor Strong says, I have to get squat wedges. That same video, I'm using ramps to stand on, and they're at like I don't know, 30 degrees. Squat wedges. It's basically an elevated platform that allows you to stand with your heels up, and it helps the people that have bad ankle mobility get deeper into their squats, and it adds a ton of stability. I think they're an outstanding training tool, and they will help. They help with a lot of things, but if you want to get a stronger back squat, I would definitely recommend picking some up for accessory work. Now, why am I highlighting this comment? Because I have a secret. I didn't buy squat wedges. I use oil change ramps. The ones that you can buy from Harbor Freight or what's the other one? O'Reilly's, AutoZone. Oil change ramps. And they separate. The little wedge part pops off. I use the blocks to do block pulls. I use the wedges to do stuff like this. I use those oil change ramps. $20 at Harbor Freight have been one of the best lifting tools, pieces of equipment that I've ever purchased. And because they are, the second you slap fitness on something, the second you say it's for lifting, the price triples. And if you were to go on Amazon right now and look at squat wedges, they are almost identical to oil change ramps. And oil change ramps are a third of the price. Plus, you can use them to change your oil in your car when you're done. Oh man, I've gotten so much mileage out of a $20 expense. And it's just hilarious that, you go on Amazon and just because it says lifting, they're going to charge 3 times the amount. It's just nuts. All right, I think I'll finish off with one more comment. Gravestrong. He writes, cranking 495. Wow, I can't even hit it in wraps yet. I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about that. I can rep 495 squats, kind of like it's nothing. If you put a gun to my head and said you need to do 20 of these or I'm going to blow your head off, I bet I could do it. It would probably take everything I had. I know I could definitely hit 10. I've done maybe 15. I don't know, maybe 20. I have to think about that. Could I really hit 20? I don't know. But I could definitely hit 10 for sure, absolutely, and like any day of the week. But all that aside, there was also a time not that long ago where, 500 was my max, and I PR'd it in a meet, and I could only do it once. And that wasn't that long ago, and it took a long time to get to 600. I'm telling you right now. For me, when we're all kind of competing and talking about, well, you can lift that and I can lift this, I go by percentages. So whatever your 1 rep max is, and it could be at 225 pounds, it could be 700. I go by percentages of 1 rep max. So if we're both lifting, rather than me say, hey man, I'm going to try to do 595 for 10, let's see if you can match me. And how many other people can do that? I'm going to say, I'm going to do 80% of my 1 rep max for reps. I want to see if you can beat that. So you get your 1 rep max, you calculate what 80% of that is, and you both go. And whoever wins. Doesn't matter who has more on the bar. It's all about percentages. And the reason I say that is because percentages are what's going to get you to that next PR, your goal. We want to get those percentages up. So I'm always talking about percentages. I don't care if you can bench more than me or you can't barely bench at all. I don't give a crap about numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about progress. We're all about progress here. So get your 1 rep maxes, and you can calculate your 1 rep max. There's tons of 1 rep max calculators online. If you can do a set of 5 or 3, honest effort as much as you can do, you can take that number, put it in the calculator, and it will approximate a 1 rep max. And why do I say that? Well, I don't think maxing out's all that safe. If you're not a power lifter or you have limitations, injuries, and you just don't want to attempt to put yourself in that kind of a position to hurt yourself, you don't have to. You can do a set of 6 or 5 or whatever, and you can put that in the calculator, and that number is perfectly adequate for training. Is it exact? No. It might be over a couple pounds, it might be under a couple pounds, but for training purposes, it's perfectly fine, and I use it all the time. So that's kind of like how I want to, if you want to compete with me, you want to have some fun, and you want to see who can really do the most of something, I'll go. Just give me a percentage of the 1 rep max, and we'll pick a target rep range, and we'll pick a lift, and we'll go for it. And if you can do more than me, you win. It's as simple as that. And that's how I also want to train moving forward. So if any of you guys want to train with me, you want to follow along and do the program I will be doing, it's all going to be based on percentages of 1 rep max, so everybody can do the same thing. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what you think. I'm kind of all over the place in this video, but I had some fun, and I really enjoyed making this one. I had to get that stuff off my chest. I do need to get to work. They're working all weekend, and I got to pop in the shop and say hi to everybody. So I will see you on the battlefield.